Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of I'm sick and not supposed to stream, so instead I will give you a short video on how to draw a bun. So this will be bun drawing slightly advanced techniques. Don't worry, they will all still be fairly easy, but I already kind of taught you guys how to draw a bun last time. You can see there's a video for it, I will be linking it in the description. If you need any fundamental bun drawing techniques, then just go there first. Today I just want to give you some tips and tricks, which, if you're a very experienced artist, you might already know all of these, but if not, maybe you'll pick up a thing or two. So first of all, last time I taught you all a very basic way to draw the bun, and it was a very traditional way, First came sketch, then came line art, then came color. But I hear you guys say, I don't feel like drawing lines. But you know what? It's understandable. I went through a very long time where I was like, man, I don't want to draw lines. And there was like a phase in my life where I was basically only drawing line art, and you know what? It's quite easy. Especially if you're drawing a bun, because buns are quite easy to draw. So, honestly, buns are so easy, I probably wouldn't even do a sketch for this, but for simplicity's sake, let's sketch out our bun. Because it's lineless, you may notice I have picked a darker gray background. That's because we'll run into like a bit of a polar bear in the snow situation if there's no lines on this bun, if we're doing it on the white background. I'll demonstrate by the time we're done. It's generally better to work on a darker background anyway, it's easier on the eyes. For simplicity's sake, I'm gonna do a quick sketch. Here's our bun. We'll just draw him as normal for now. There we go. So if you're working lineless, generally speaking, as opposed to line art, you might want to put your sketch stage on top and then lower its opacity a little bit. Then you just go underneath and start putting down the colors. And it really is that easy. In this case, I probably might be easier for one of our later steps if I use a cleaner brush, though you certainly don't have to. I'm just doing this because there's another trick I want to show you guys later, which won't work as well if I'm using a messy brush. But honestly, using a messy brush with lineless work often turns out pretty nice. You often get a nice bit of texture when you do. So don't let me discourage you from doing the same. As you can see, I'm just kind of filling out the area underneath my sketch right now. There we go. And then just removing the sketch a bit. You can see it's a little bit wonky. And you usually want to go and clean up your shapes a little bit when you're working lineless. Make it a little bit neater, make it a little bit nicer. Till you get it the way you like it. And there we go. We have a circle in the shape of a bun. And because we're working lineless, we can just draw straight on top of it. Now I will recommend when working lineless is to work in multiple layers, so that it's a little bit easier to get where you want. So one of your first instincts might be to draw the face directly on top of it like this. But when you do that, it'll be harder to cleanly fill in the color for the mouth, for example, because you'll get on top of the lines. So I recommend doing the face on another layer. It doesn't take much extra time, and you can always merge the layers together again later. So there we go, face. Then make another layer again. Put this one underneath. And here's where it will come in useful to have layers again. If you make a layer behind the white layer that you put the basic shape in, you can easily add the feet like this, and it won't get into the way. Now, even though you're lineless, you might consider doing some shading on the body to make it clear where the horns are, for example. You can do this quite simply by adding a clipping layer to your white layer. If you add a new layer, clipping group, most programs will have something similar to this to make it stand apart. And you could, for example, shade the ears so they look like they're a little bit more backwards. You can add a little bit of shading like so, to add three-dimensionality. Honestly, sometimes you can even just like add a little line in the middle to like make sure you stand apart. It's all up to you and however you feel like shading your bun. Now the bun is like quite a simple shape. You can just leave it as is as well if you want, in which case you just add the cheek swirls. It's the finishing touch and you're done. Now here is why we're doing this on a darker background. Yeah, the polar bear in a snowstorm syndrome, the bun will get lost. You could of course make the body a bit more of a gray color if you want to. It will mean that then it stands apart, but because of the design, it gets a little bit too dark too quickly, I think. So that said, you don't want to draw lines, but it doesn't mean you hate lines. And there are certainly ways to be lazy with your lines, especially with an easy shape like this. So say you've got your shape now. I'll just merge our layers we have here. Here we go. That's our bun. And I'll make another layer. So one of the easy ways most programs will have an option similar to this is one where you click outline and you can adjust it. Quite simple. I do this sometimes if I want to do a bunch of doodles very quickly. I just slap down the colors, click outline, and there you go. Honestly, outline can be very nice, especially if you're making cheapies, and it can be quite a nice effect too, even if you're using line art. Make the outer lines a little bit thicker. It makes everything pop a little bit more. It depends on the art style, and you certainly don't have to do it. But you certainly can. And if you're doing something like this, you might be wanting to adjust the inner outlines a little bit, and that is fine. Like so. To give a little bit more dimension to the picture, but you don't have to. Here we've got one way of making the outline, but there are other ways. For example, Psych does have this option where the outline is automatically added. You can do it by going to Effect and clicking Watery Fringe. In this case, the Watery Fringe like adds a darker kind of multiply layer effect to all the art that is there on the outline, which you can tell doesn't really work if you're using a lot of light colors. For example, right here. You don't really notice the watery fringes out, but you may have noticed it on the feet, which means that Psy isn't necessarily the best place to do this in, though it can work if you're working with more saturated colors, and it can like add a very nice, well, watercolor effect, which is definitely what it's going for. But there are other tools where you can do this effect a lot more effectively, like for example, Clip Studio Paint or Photoshop. And I'll actually demonstrate in Clip Studio Paint. Here we go. Here's our bun. Oh, he's so small. If you go to Clip Studio Paint and you click Effects, you can get border effects. Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized you can't see it. 1 second. I'll just move this over a little bit. Oh, my big head is in front of it. 1 second. I'll also move myself down. I'm sorry, this is all very impromptu. Okay, let me try that again. As you can see, here is the effect button. You get border effects. And you can choose your color. So, here's our color. And tada, we've got a line. This is very similar to the line thickness we had before, but the most important and useful part of this is that this adjusts at your drawing. So if for whatever reason we wanted to add a little bit more to this bun, we wanted to give it, I don't know, a third horn, it will add automatically. If we felt like adding a tail to the background, it will adjust where the lines go. So this can be very useful. This is actually, a bit of an advanced move, but this works very well for hair. So if we want to give this bun like, and this doesn't only work for buns, of course, this works for actual hair. So if you're not really feeling like drawing out every single one of your hair strands, let's say we give this bun an amazing wig. I'm gonna use a different pen for this. One moment. Where I don't use Clip Studio very much, so I always lose sight of where I've left my brushes. I think I'm trying to. Oh, where is that pen? I want to like have a nice and clean one real quick, but I need to organize my brushes as it turns out, because I cannot find what I'm looking for. I'll use all paint for now. So, as you can see, it automatically adds the line art. So if you want to like have like slightly fancy and like you just wanna experiment with where your hair goes, you can kind of just fill it in, loose strokes, and this way your line art gets added in for you. This can be very, very useful. The bun looks a little silly, but you know, very dashing with its long flowing locks. But this is particularly useful if you're drawing, for example, an anime character and you just can't be bothered to do the hair or the line art for the hair, and you just want to block some stuff in very, very quickly. The one downside of this is that the line art is attached to your layer more or less. What you could do is like add like a clipping layer to do the shadow. You can also of course draw it in the hair if you want to differentiate the line art a little bit more. For example, oh, I really need to find a better brush. Where did I put them? These are all effect brushes. I am sorry for this. It's because like a while ago I lost all of my brushes and I don't use Clip Studio that much, so I haven't re-imported half of them, I think. But here, for example, you can also add like a little bit line art within the paint, like so, and you know, make it clear like that. Either way, this is a very nice, quick way to add line arts to your work, and is honestly more than anything very good for drawing hair or drawing background elements, floral arrangements, golden frills at the, you know, think like slightly art deco stuff is like very easy to pull off with this kind of trick. And I recommend it. So, those are some ways you can be lazy about lines, and you can even, like I say, a lot of project programs will have a line outline tool. Even Aspite, which is a program that I sometimes use for pixel art, has ways to outline. So what is happening here? Oh dear, everything is crashing. Oh, why is it doing this? This is not right. Oh no. 1 second. Oh, there we go. Even Aspite. This is because I'm running too many programs at the same time. One moment. So I just drew a small pixel bun earlier. It's a little bit messy, please don't mind me. It's just an example. So what you would do is go to Edit, click FX, Outline, and then just like any other ones, you can choose your color. Any color you like. Can be black, can be orange, green. Like I don't have to explain to you guys what colors are. It can be whatever color you want, basically. In this case, let's just match the color in the eyes. Though it could be nice to use yellow too. In this case, let's just match the color of the eyes. I can also match the yellow, which would I think be a nice effect, especially if we went maybe a little bit darker, could be cute as well. But no, for now, let's just go with this. Ta-da! And oh, I've got to demonstrate. It actually allows for different options, depending on how you want it to be applied. So you can have it like in a thinner matter. It just like which pixels it will put the outline next to. You can see all the examples here, which means that you can have whichever effect you want. You can also customize it yourself by adding more or less. You can also do insight if you want to make it add the line, the outline, basically within what you've already drawn, rather than on the outside of it. So yeah, here we've got a basic one. Much like a lot of the other programs, you'll still want to probably go back in and make some adjustments afterwards, clean it up here and there. This would be quite messy for pixel art. I didn't really draw it very nice. It's a bit big in the first place, but you get the idea. And finally, I wanted to discuss some MS Paint tips and tricks. Some very simple one, but some tips nevertheless. Maybe you say like the only program I have is MS Paint, and these days you can actually do quite a lot with it. I don't actually know half the options you have for MS Paint nowadays. There is a lot of them, after all. These days you even have layers. But most of my tools will, all of my tips will work across any version of MS Paint, even the older ones. So, first of all, I made a quick sketch, quick bun. Let's add very rough, simple line art to it. There we go. We're outlining our bun. This is gonna be rather basic, but here we go. And our bun has its line art. I could clean this up slightly, but you know, it's more or less there. And you might be like, wow, Joru, how do I get rid of this sketch layer now? I live in a universe where my MS Paint doesn't have layers, as most of the previous versions didn't. There's a very classic tip where if you take the color that you use for your sketch layer, then go to the fill bucket tool, and what you're gonna do is basically spam your fill bucket tool and alternate it with the color of your background. This will cause a little bit of flashing on the screen. Look away if you don't want to see it. Here we go. So you're just gonna fill and unfill. It actually works better in all the versions of MS Paint because these newer ones often have like nearly invisible anti-aliasing or something like it. Ooh, accidentally removed some of the lines there. And that is how you get rid of your sketch layer. The older version of MS Paint, the better this will actually work, most of the time. And at that point, you probably still want to clean up your line art a little bit, but you know, the basics are all there. You can also add in the colors the way you like to do so. There we go. We can just use the fill bucket tool. Like I said, all the versions of MS Paint do this a little bit better. The new ones often have it get stuck a little bit. There we go. And we have a basic one. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know about for MS Paint is that you can actually change the colors of your line. And not just, of course, by using the fill bucket tool, you can actually do it a lot easier. And a lot more, have a lot more control of it. And that is by using the eraser tool. So, first of all, you select the color of your line. In this case, we're using black. And then in your secondary color, you pick the color you want to change the line to. So in this case, let's make it like a dark brown. And then you use your right mouse button. And as if by magic, you can change the color of the line. Let's use it with like a brighter color so it's a little bit more obvious. Wow. You can get a lot of really fun effects with this. And I feel, well, I mostly just want to show it off because I feel a lot of people don't know about this. This goes for any color. So if you, for example, it's like not limited to just lines. So for example, if we take our little guy from a sprite and drop him in here, it's basically the same same idea, but instead you can use you know, whatever else you want to get changed. So here we can use for some reason if we want to change up. Oh, why aren't you working right now? Oh, I might have picked the wrong color. There we go. We can change up the color of the bun or the color of the shading on the ear. Oh, it's not. Oh, here we go. Now we have a very Christmassy bun. And so on and so forth. And in this way, you can make a lot of changes to the parts of the picture that you want to adjust. And oh, 1 second, I'm used to different toolcuts, shortcuts that I keep using from other programs. And basically you can add a lot of fun special effects. At the moment this looks terrible. You probably want to keep in mind what you actually want to use it for. But if you, for example, want to edit pixel art and you only want to edit the red pixels on Mario's overwall or something, remember, this will make it a lot easier if you're doing it in MS Paint. Other programs will have replaced tool functions, which might be more practical, but hey, it's pretty neat nevertheless, no? Hello, this is Future Joel calling in because I forgot the part I most wanted to tell you guys about when it came to the advanced thing. I lost my files already, so I just doodled a new thing. So, I kind of alluded to it, but didn't really tell you properly. Of course, you can use this for more than just line art, because essentially what it does is create a clipping layer or masking layer for a singular color, which means that if you're working in Paint and you want to use it to like more easily color or add shading, this is one of the easiest ways to do it. This works in all the versions of Paint as well. And it means you don't actually have to use layers of any kind. Now in this case, for example, you might be using it in case you want to add some quick shading to the skin color, for example. So if I want to shade with like a slightly darker shade of gray here, or like let's just do a blush or something real quick, you can do that without destroying any of the rest of the lines you've got going on. So if you want to add some shading to one of the buns, you can do that. Oh, you don't really see that color very well. Let's go a little bit darker. You can just add that and it won't affect any of the yellow. Though of course you can go back to the yellow, grab a darker yellow here as well, and then add shading for the yellow in much the same way. Oops, did it the wrong way around, my bad. But here you go. And then you can shade a little bit easier. This is especially good for things like hair, where perhaps you might want to add a highlight layer or and quickly add highlights like so. This is very useful, very practical for MS Paint, and basically how we used to do it back in the day. the sweet tips and tricks. Okay, going back to past show now. Goodbye. Bye bye. Actually, past show is about to wrap up as well. Anyway, bye. And that is all for advanced bun drawing training. It's just a short video, but if you had fun, I will feel accomplished too. I hope to see you all again while streaming soon. I'm sorry if the video is a bit choppy. I have to edit out a lot of coughing. So till next time, bye 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 bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.